Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to be taking a look ahead to Game Week 24, the double Game Week 24, which is on the horizon. And with the double Game Week, becomes a lot of kind of humming and hawing about who your captaincy should be. Today, we're just going to be discussing a few options, especially with what's happened in the FA Cup, which we'll come on to. There's a lot of things to discuss. So if you are new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for the daily FPL content. Hit the like button, of course, if you enjoy the video, and let's get straight on into this one. So the first player we come to is Ilkay Gundogan for Manchester City. Man City playing against Spurs and Everton in the double, and Gundogan, he's just been balling out. The past 10 game weeks, he's scored 9 goals with an expected goals per 90 of 0.45 and expected assist per 90 of 0.19. It's not quite as high as some of the players we will look at, but it's been very, very good. And just the general form that Gundogan has been on, he's almost essential for this game week and a very, very solid captaincy option coming in at 6 million. I mean, yeah, it's just incredible value. Obviously, the midfielder spots are very, very kind of precious this year. There are so many good midfielders, but Gundogan is definitely one to be putting in there. And definitely consideration for captaincy as well. There is kind of people discussing, will Gundogan be rotated? I think that without De Bruyne, Gundogan is so, even with De Bruyne, Gundogan was playing kind of week in, week out for the sort of period just before De Bruyne got injured, and now with De Bruyne out, Gundogan's so essential for that team. There's been also discussion that he may drop back, even when we've seen him drop back before. He's been kind of a pivotal part of that attack, so Gundogan is definitely a very, very solid option. Obviously, only picked up the 1 assist so far this season. Picks up plenty of bonus points though when he does kind of get any kind of return, just because of how well he's kind of been playing throughout the game. And I think that Gundogan, if he was 11, 12 million, then I think a lot more people would be captaining him. It's just because the 6 mil price tags makes you think like, am I going to expect as many points as someone who is 11, 12 million? I think yes, just because he's 6 mil doesn't mean he won't be scoring as many goals. And he's shown over the past 10 game weeks with his 9 goals that he is super consistent and just a very good option for the captaincy for this week. Then we move into his teammate Raheem Sterling, a little bit more of a differential. I don't think as many people will have him for this game, and I think definitely has the highest kind of ceiling, I reckon, out of any captaincy option for this weekend so far forward. Potentially even playing as the kind of false number 9 in that team. Coming in at 11.4 million, he's not cheap, and you definitely would be expecting returns from Sterling. Has only slightly better expected stats than Gundogan, coming in with 0.46 expected goals per 90 and 0.22 expected assists per 90, picking up 8 goals and 4 assists, a total of 12 contributions so far this season. Sterling, he's had a lot of balls on a plate for him in previous weeks, and he's not actually kind of done a lot himself to create goals. But I think, if people are passing the ball across to him and he's just able to stick the ball in the net every single time, then obviously he's a very good option playing against a Spurs side and an Everton side who, they've not both looked that great of late. Obviously, Spurs did win their last game, but it was against a West Brom side who have been generally extremely poor so far this season. Everton are most likely going to be without CalvertLewin and Dino, so will probably be on the back foot for most of that game. So I think Raheem Sterling's also a very, very tidy option for captaincy. So the next person we're going to look at is Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United playing against West Brom. The main man himself, the Mr. Consistent, 37 returns in 37 games for Bruno Fernandes. What an unbelievable player, and I think he's going to go a little bit under the radar this week with plenty of people kind of targeting the double game week players. Bruno Fernandes against West Brom is not one to be slept on. He's got an expected goals per 90 of 0.51 and expected assist per 90 of 0.4, picking up 13 goals and picking up 9 assists so far this season. As I said, he's basically expected a return every single game against a West Brom side who's conceded, I think, at least 2 goals in the past 13 games. I mean, Manchester United should go to West Brom and absolutely shred them up. I'm personally, as I say, looking at captain and Bruno myself. Obviously, you don't have that second fixture like the Manchester City guys do to kind of fall back on. But in one single game week, Bruno Fernandes could absolutely tear this up, and in any other game week you would definitely be captaining him. So I think Bruno Fernandes is definitely one to be looking at for this game week. Then we move on to Nicky Pope. As I mentioned before, some kind of FA Cup goings on have definitely kind of marred a lot of people's plans. Sean Dice has come out and said that Nick Pope missed the game because of maybe a slight injury or something. It's just not something quite right there with Nick Pope. I think though that he probably is quite likely to play and is one to kind of wait and see what happens, especially for putting putting the armband on him. But for this, we're gonna kind of assume that he is playing, because I do think he will. Obviously, the expected assists and expected goals and assists, it would be unfair to assess Nick Pope through those stats. But I've got a couple of other defensive stats for Nick Pope that could, potentially sway you to captaining him for this game week. So he's picked up 7 clean sheets so far this season, part of a Burnley defence that is very, very solid. 7 clean sheets isn't actually it isn't great, it isn't bad at all, but it's definitely not on the kind of heights as the likes of Manchester City, the likes of Aston Villa. And so you would be maybe thinking, are they going to keep clean sheets in this game? Well, they're playing against Crystal Palace without Wilfried Zaha. Their expected goals goes down, drastically. They're playing against a Fulham side who, throughout this season haven't really been scoring too many goals. Also, he's managed to pick up 21 save points so far this season, and also picked up a total of 16 bonus points. So when he does keep a clean sheet, he picks up at least kind of 9 or 10 points. And I think in both these games, you'd probably expect at least 1 clean sheet. So if he's getting at least 1 clean sheet, and one of those clean sheets is going to be worth 9 or 10 points plus, and then he's most likely going to pick up a save point and a potential bonus point in the other game, you could maybe expect between 13 to 15 points is a realistic projection for Nick Pope, obviously, if he does play both games. So I think, Nick Pope is a genuine shout for captaincy for this game week. Obviously, I personally wouldn't be captaining him just because of my experience with captaining defenders in the past. You never really know what's going to happen. You're very much expecting that they will keep a clean sheet. If, he does go and concede in 1 goal in both these games, then, he might hit the 6-point mark because of a save point, but then you've got the whole minus points coming in if they concede 2 goals and so on and so on. But that being said, I do think there's a very high chance in both these games that Nick Pope could keep clean sheets, and it's definitely worth the consideration for this game week. Next, we move into CalvertLewin. Unfortunately for CalvertLewin, he did pick up an injury in the FA Cup game against Spurs. He was forced off on the 55th minute for some kind of hamstring problem. Now we're waiting and seeing what's going to happen there, but it does look likely that he's at least going to miss the Fulham game or potentially both the games. So I think because of that, I'm not really going to be discussing, that he's going to be a good captaincy option for this game week, just because there's so much uncertainty and he's very unlikely to at least play both the games. So what I'm going to do instead is to discuss potential options, what you can do with Calvert-Lewin. So just in terms of playing him for this game week, I don't think it's a good idea to stick him in the expectation that if he doesn't play, then a bench player will come on, because the likelihood is he's definitely going to miss that Fulham game. But he could, somehow return for the Manchester City game. So you don't really want to be playing Calvert-Lewin when he's got, effectively a single game week against Manchester City. So I think it's a good idea if you're playing with the, expecting a bench player to come on for him, a good idea to just play said bench player. Or you could commit to the idea that the likelihood is, he may play the Manchester City game and then just hope that he'll play for the Fulham game, and just commit yourself to the idea that, okay, there is the potential that he only plays the Man City game and a bench player will come on if he doesn't play either game. Then in terms of, what to actually do with Calvert-Lewin, if we get, more of an update of how severe the injury is, in game week 26, it's all but confirmed that Everton will have a double game week against Southampton and against West Brom. And, those 2 fixtures for Calvert-Lewin, if we get some confirmation that he's only going to be out for a couple of weeks, could be unbelievable. I mean, he scored a hat-trick against West Brom earlier on in the season, and with the form that Southampton are on, it's not a bad attacking fixture to play against. So if we get some confirmation there, it could genuinely just be a hold for Calvert-Lewin. If maybe we get some more confirmation that he's out for a bit longer, or that, you just want to get rid of him, you could even look to the Southampton attack in terms of a replacement. So we've got Che Adams there, who's a little bit cheaper, gives you a bit more money. Or we've got Danny Ings there, who, does come with his own injury problems, who's a little bit more expensive, but definitely has a greater attacking potential, and if he gets consistent game time, will definitely be scoring more goals. So they've got a single game coming up against Wolves, they've not been on great form of late. It definitely isn't a bad fixture for an attacking side. Then they've also got a confirmed double game week next in the game week 25 against Leeds and Chelsea, and are also very likely to get at least one more double game week, I think, in either game week 26 or 27, and either way, game week 27 and 28, they have very, very nice fixtures against Sheffield United and Brighton. So a Southampton asset as a replacement for Calvert-Lewin this week may not be a bad idea at all if we get more of an update on what his kind of injury position is. So I hope you have enjoyed, or at least found this video a little bit more informative in terms of, the potential captaincy picks for this week. I personally am definitely thinking of going with Fernandes. I think I would be leaning towards Gundogan if I owned him, but unfortunately I don't. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet on this one and go without him. But yeah, let me know who you're going to captain down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for the daily FPL content, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.